Is there something happening in your life right now that is outside of your control? Amen.
Amen.
Is anyone in a financial loan? Probably you are piled up and brought down by your situation. And have you ever experienced, one day when you just, when you wake up in the morning, you're like, what is going on? There's this emptiness, or there's this feeling that I don't understand. I am at the edge. I am at the end of my rope, and you're like, what am I going to do, Lord? Right? We all experience this. Probably some of us, we are in the midst of this. Okay. But see, one of the most amazing purpose of God in our life is for us to experience abundant life. Okay. In John 10:10, the thief comes to steal and to destroy. But Jesus said, I have come to give you life, and life to the fullest. Okay? But maybe some of you're in a moment that you're like, well, I don't think John 10:10 is real. Because I don't think I am experiencing an abundant life. Okay? That can't be true right now. Because I am really at the edge and at the end of my rope. Okay. See, the world is difficult. Some of you probably you are in a place that it is good. It's a good place. Okay, so enjoy that place. Enjoy that moment and be thankful for that moment. But maybe some of us, we are just being challenged for a week now. Some probably for a month, and some for
so many years.
Yeah, so many years. You can't count them anymore. Okay? See, we live in a life or in a world that is unsure. So if we live in a world that is unsure, where do we find stability? Where can we find confidence? Where can we find steadfastness? See, one of God's plan for us is to remain calm and still in the midst of storm. Okay, calm. Tell the person next to you, calm, sister, calm. Okay, that we have to have that sense of confidence, that sense of trust, that profound reliance on Jesus, who transcends every situation that we face. Okay. See, we find our security, our confidence, ultimately and truly in what Jesus has done for us. Not in what we have done or in what we can do, because what we have done can't do anything for us. Okay, but on what Jesus has finished for us, in what Jesus has conquered and has completed for you and for me. Okay. Do you believe that when Jesus died on the cross and rose from the grave, that's it? It is done? It is finished.
Yes, it's done.
Yeah, it's done. We are free from sin. We are free from guilt. We are free from shame. Okay, we are free from troubles, but not literally free. But which it means that we can now, we have already conquered troubles.
Yes.
It has already been done, conquered. So whatever you're facing right now, it has already been conquered. Tell the person next to you, it has been conquered. You just don't feel like it, right?
Yes.
It has been defeated, right?
Yes.
But it doesn't feel like it, right? See, no matter what we are going through right now, my dear brothers and sisters, we have to go beyond the normal experience, because that is transcendence. Okay? Transcendence. We are always supposed to be saying and telling ourselves, despite my situation, despite my challenges, Jesus loves me.
Amen.
I am already free. Who the Son sets free is free indeed. Period. It's done. No, despite my trials, I am forgiven. I have already a place in the family of God. We should tell ourselves, what I am going through right now, okay, is not going to last forever.
Amen.
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 Though it feels like forever. Amen. Okay? But what will last and what will remain forever is the love of God for me. See, we have to tell ourselves that someday, okay, I will be in His arms. Someday, He will wipe all my tears. Someday, there will be no more troubles. There will be no more problems. But in the meantime, because we are still here on earth, and we are still breathing, tell ourselves, I am going to go through this day. I am going to go through these challenges. I'm going to go through this trial because I know who I am and whose I am. I am a child of God. I am chosen, not forsaken, and I can make it through another day.
Amen.
See, we're gonna learn a story in the book of Joshua. Okay? In the book of Joshua, it's pretty much God telling His people that I keep my promise. Okay? That book is all about God's promises. It's about God keeping His promise. So when God makes a promise, He is up to it. Okay? When God makes a promise, He is committed in doing it. Okay? Remember this. Okay? He takes pride in His promises. He takes it seriously. He is not like human that when we make a promise, we what? We break our promise, right? When God makes a promise to you, you can count on it. That the person next to you, you can count on it.
You can count on it.
No matter how small the promise of God to you, He will always deliver it over and over again.
Amen.
Amen. God is telling us tonight, I got this. I got my promises and I'm going to fulfill it. Okay? So if you are here today and you're wondering if God is true to His promise, if God is a promise keeper, okay, how come I don't see His promises happening in my life right now? But see, we just have to remember and just look at His work. Let us remind ourselves of His history, what He has done in the past. Because what He has done in the past, He's also going to do it also today. His story in the Bible, His promises in the Bible is guaranteed true until today. Do you believe that?
Amen.
Okay. So, but one thing about the promises of God is His timing is a little bit different. In His timing, in comparison to our timing, is a little bit off. Okay. See, God made a promise to the people of Israel, and it took Him 500 years to fulfill. Who can wait 500 years? Raise your hands. See, why 500 years? Because sometimes the promise given to you by God does not necessarily will happen to you in your lifetime. It can be a promise of or for the next generation. Okay? Not all the time, so don't worry. Okay? But this time, in the book of Joshua, He promised it 500 years ago. God promised Abram, okay, before he became Abraham, okay, that he will be great. Okay? So finally, he became Abraham. Okay? We're just going back to history here. But when God promised Abraham that he was going to be great, He gave that promise when Abraham was old. Like really old, like 70 years old. Okay? And another promise He made to Abraham is that he's going to be great and a father of many nations, but also at that time, his wife cannot bear a child. Okay? So, in the process of waiting, which by the way, God's delay are not His denials. Okay? Remember this. His delays are not His denials. Abraham got tired of waiting. Okay? Just like us. Right? He got tired of waiting, so he took matters into his own hands. He had a child with another woman. Okay? And that brought a lot of complications to the family of Abraham. Just like when we take matters into our own hands and not wait upon God, it's going to bring us complications. Okay, so then he had Isaac. And Isaac was the start of small beginnings of that promises of God. Okay. So fast forward 500 years after, okay, Abraham dead, of course. Okay. Also, Moses happened already. The flight to Egypt already happened after 500 years. Abraham has now become 2.5 million people. So the promise of God was fulfilled. He was now the 2.5 million Israelites wandering around the desert. For how many years this time? 40 years. Okay? So there was still one aspect of the promise of God given to Abraham that has not yet been fulfilled. And that is that they are going to have their own land. That they're going to own properties. Okay? They're going to be real estate agents. Okay? No, they're just going to have properties. Okay? God promised Abraham that you are going to have your own land for your very own, my inheritance to you. But at that moment, they are still wandering around the desert. Okay? So Moses died and Joshua took his place as the leader of the 2.5 million Israelites wandering around the desert. Okay? So finally, God told Joshua, okay, here we go. It's time for me to fulfill my promise. I am going to give you the land that I have promised you 500 years ago. Go and take it right now. But look at God's timing in this story. Open your Bibles to the book of Joshua, chapter 3. Okay. Verses 15 to 17. Let's read together. Joshua 3, verses 15 and following. Are you guys ready? It says here, and as soon as those bearing the ark had come as far as Jordan, or the Jordan, and the feet of the priest bearing the ark were dipped in the bank, or in the brink of the water, okay, open and close parenthesis, it says there, now the Jordan overflows all its banks throughout the time of harvest. Now, I would like you to take note of that. That is very important. That's why there's a parenthesis there. Okay? The waters coming down from above stood and rose up in a heap very far away. Okay? At Adam, the city that is beside Zarethan, and those flowing down toward the sea of the Arabah, that the Salt Sea, were completely cut off. Now, take notice as well, completely cut off. Tell the person next to you, completely cut off.
Completely cut off.
Okay? And the people passed over or crossed over opposite Jericho. Verse 17, now the priest bearing the ark of the covenant of the Lord stood firmly on dry ground in the midst of the Jordan, and all Israel was passing over on dry ground until all the nation, all 2.5 million people, finished passing over Jordan. Now, I don't know if you have read this before, but this is an amazing story. Okay? Maybe for some, well, they crossed Jordan and what's so amazing about that? Well, it is amazing. We're going to learn why. Okay, so Joshua was told by God to take the land. And so when he told the people of this good news, okay, so when they got to the river, Jordan, okay, then God told them, go now, take your land. They're like, okay, Lord, how are we going to take the land? There's no boat. Okay, there's no bangka, no canoe whatsoever. And Lord, the time that you pick is when the river overflows. Okay, it's the year of the harvest. The rivers was at flood stage. Okay, so talk about bad timing here, right?
Yes.
Talk about worst time to cross over. See, God let the people wait 500 years. And He chose this one day, okay, to cross over when Jordan was out of control. Okay, I don't know about you, but Lord, hello, okay. Then His plan was, okay, I want you now to go ahead and cross over now. And like, Lord, now? I said, now. Can we wait until the river calms down so we could at least, have a great time crossing over? But God said, tell everybody, now. Tell the person next to you, now. Okay. Just imagine when Joshua told the people of Israel, this is it, we're gonna cross over. Probably people like, is there any other day that we can cross over? Joshua, can you tell God? God, can it be next week or probably 2 days from now, but definitely not now, we're all gonna die? Okay. See, we have to hear the message. Okay? Hear this, my dear brothers and sisters. When we are at a time in our life that is overwhelming, okay, that is about the right time that God is working miracles in your life.
Amen.
I want to say that again.
Amen.
Amen. Right? When you are at a time when it feels so overwhelming, you don't know what to do, you feel drowning and with all this burden in your life, that is about the right time that God is also working a miracle in your life.
Amen.
God is saying, I waited 500 years and I choose this day when it seemed impossible. When it seems impossible, I know you cannot cross over. There is no way you can do that. Okay? Because I specialize in the impossible. God is telling us today, this is my track record. Hello? I am the God of the impossible. Okay? No, I get a kick out of the impossible. I want to show my children how I work, and it is through impossible things. This is how I work. This is God. This is how God worked with my dear brothers and sisters. In the worst seasons of life, here comes a miracle. Here comes a miracle. But sometimes we always love to wait for miracles when everything is going great, don't we? Right? But most of our miracle comes when everything is overwhelming. Okay. Long time ago, God also did another water miracle. What was it? Another water miracle. The first one. The Red Sea. Okay, that was with Moses. Okay, he created a water wall. So the people, while they were crossing, they can see the whale swimming, the fish, the octopus. They can see it. It's like they're in an aquarium, that the aquarium in a tube. That's how it was when they were crossing over going through the Red Sea. Okay? But at this time, God is not going to do water walls. Okay? He did something completely different in the crossing water miracle in this story. Why do you think so? Why a different way? Why can't he not just part the Jordan River, same as the Red Sea? Ask me why.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. He can do that. He is God, so he can do whatever. Okay? So, but if you're expecting, the same approach to your miracle, if you're expecting the same way out of your troubles, I am sorry, but God's not gonna do the same thing. He will mix it up for you. Okay? Because He is a God of new things. Isaiah 49 verse 13 or 43 verse 13, it says there, behold, I am doing something new. So sometimes we are waiting for the same approach to our troubles, and we're not getting it, and we're like, Lord, what are you doing? God is telling us, shh, quiet, relax. I am doing something. It's not the one you're expecting. It's something different. It's something better. Okay? See, God told Joshua to take the Ark of the Covenant first. Okay? He told them to tell the priests to take the Ark of the Covenant, okay, in the surging river. Okay. Imagine if you are the priest at that time and you're holding the Ark of the Covenant. And Joshua told you, now go ahead, you go first. First, the priest? Why don't you go first? You're our leader. No. God said the priest first with the Ark of the Covenant. The priest probably wanted to argue with Joshua. Hey, Joshua, hold on. We did not sign up for this. Okay, I didn't even, took swimming lessons. Okay, my job was to read the Torah, and that's it. My job is not to swim. My job is not to take the Ark of the Covenant into the surging river. No way. I am not going to do that. Okay? See, but my dear brothers and sisters, this is one of the thing that we have to realize in the story. The Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant represents Jesus. The Ark of the Covenant is made of wood and gold, which wood represents Jesus' humanity, and the gold represents his divinity. Okay. So when God told them to go first, take the ark and go first, it means that Jesus should always go first. He is always first. And what does that got to do with our troubles and our challenges, Sister Mick? The point of the story is Jesus always goes before us. There's nowhere that we are going to travel that God has not traveled it yet. There's nothing that we will face here on earth that Jesus has not yet faced. Remember, he faced shame, guilt, condemnation, death on the cross before us and for us. Okay, so Jesus was the first fruit of many because the whole of human race were saved because of him. He was the first fruit of many. Okay, in John 4, last week we have learned John 4:19. He first loved us. So Jesus should always go first. This is a promise for us followers of Jesus and the guarantee that he is always before us. Tell the person next to you, he is always before you.
He's always before you.
Psalm 23, right? The Lord is my shepherd. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because you are with me. That is who our God is. He always goes before us. And not only does he go before us, he also sympathizes with us when we are experiencing challenges. Remember the story of Lazarus? Right? Jesus decided to not go yet. So he decided to go after 4 days when Lazarus was already dead. And so Martha came running towards him crying, and so was Mary, and they were all crying together. Even Jesus wept. That's the shortest verse in the Bible in John 11. Jesus wept. And this is funny. So when Martha like, Lord, if you were, Mary came, Lord, if you were just here, our brother would have not died. And Jesus like, I know. He says there, he wept. So I was just imagining he was crying. Then all of a sudden, after he cried, he thought, okay, let's go, Lazarus, get up. And what? Like Martha and Mary were like, what, really? We had to cry. For what? You're going to raise him anyway. See, why did Jesus have to weep at that time? See, why would he do that? Why can he not just raise Lazarus from the dead and get over it? Why can't he just make a way out of our trouble and get over it? Okay. See, Jesus can do that. But the emotion and the pain, we are feeling is real, even though he is going to change our situation. He is recognizing that it is okay to cry, and it's okay to weep. It's okay, to cry out to me and ask, Lord, it hurts, and I just feel so lonely, I just feel lost. It's okay, because you feel it. It is your emotion, but after crying, shoo, because I'm going to change your situation. I'm going to turn things around. Okay. So, let's go back to verse 15. Verse 15, let's read it again. It says there, as soon as those bearing the ark had come as far as the Jordan, and the feet of the priest bearing the ark dipped in the brink of water. Okay, imagine. Okay, so Joshua's like, go ahead, no priest, do it. You're gonna go first. They're probably like, right. And then, but it says there, as soon as the feet of the priest touched the water, miracle occurred. Miracle occurred. See, in order to cross Jordan, the priest had to step in. Okay. See, there are times God will not provide a way out of our trouble right at that moment, because we still have to take that step of faith before we can see our miracle. Right? Who among you here has done the step of faith, and true enough, you saw your miracle? Raise your hands. You make a step of faith and you saw your miracle. Raise your hands. Okay. See, the moment we take that step, miracle starts to happen. God does not wait. As soon as the priest touched the water, the miracle happened. Okay. Now let us take a closer look now on verse 16. So when the priest touched the water, what happened? The waters coming down, okay, from above and rose up in a heap very far away. Now I would like you to imagine that. 20 miles up north is where God did the miracle. It was not right in front of them. It was 20 miles up north. What did God do? He stopped the water. It says there was this, the heap from far away, a pile of water. So the water was just like there. It was a mighty water. It was not like, and it stopped and it remained calm. No. It was surging water, but being stopped. Okay? So, my dear brothers and sisters, it took probably 20 plus days before all 2.5 million people crossed Jordan. And at some point in that crossing over, God had to cut off the flood. How many miles away? Around 20 miles away, it says there. Up north. He stopped it. He needs to stop it because if not, people will be destroyed. Right? They will be destroyed. So the water piled up in a heap far away. What is the message here for us today? When God gets involved in our lives, there is a stoppage. Their troubles, it won't touch you. But it feels like it is touching you. Your troubles will not defeat you. Because 20 miles away, God has already stopped it. In other words, even before, okay, we had life in the time of Jesus, or in Jesus' time, that's why it says there, Adam. Okay, Adam. When you read a place in the Bible, there is always a meaning. Why Adam? Who is Adam? You're right. The first man. So it says there that Jesus stopped, okay, from Adam's time. In other words, when Jesus died on the cross, okay, the sin of first man, which we inherited, which he is the reason why we're in this mess, has already been stopped by Jesus when he died on the cross. And also, when Jesus gets involved in our life, he does not only stop, but he also what? Gives us a safe passage through our troubles, through our challenges, through our rough week. He gives us a safe passage. Okay? There is a hedge of protection around us that cannot destroy us. It cannot destroy you. Tell the person next to you, it cannot destroy you.
It cannot destroy you.
See, Jordan is a very strong river, overwhelming, surging, powerful river, 20 miles of rushing water. Okay? It's very much like a picture of life when we are so overwhelmed, when we are overtaken by the current of life. Okay? You feel like you're drowning. Sometimes you feel like you're swimming, but you're not getting anywhere. Have you ever felt like that in your life? You're like, going against the current because Jesus said to go against the current, but I'm getting tired already. My arms are getting tired, Lord. My prayers are getting tired. We cannot avoid difficulties because we are still in the world. It's part of life, but it is not to destroy us. It is not to defeat us. It is not to drown us. It is not to kill us. The sin of mankind has been cut off already. Then that includes our troubles. But if it has been cut off, why do I still feel the effects? Why do I still struggle? Because the flesh lies. Our flesh lies to us. The enemy deceives us. The enemy wants us to think that we are defeated. The enemy wants to think that we are destroyed already. The enemy wants to think that we are already overcome by trials. We are already losers. He deceives us. And our flesh, of course, we have emotions. Our emotions can lie to us. How can you be chosen? You feel like you're forsaken, right? How can you be like a child of God? When everything is not going right, is there a child of God that is like that? Oh my gosh. You're like, oh my God, you're right. See, the power to transcend and to cross over our problems and difficulties in life can only happen in the person of Jesus Christ. Okay. Our focus should not be the river. Our focus should not even be the promised land. Because a lot of us, we expect the blessing from God to come. And when we don't see the blessing, we are not favored by God. I am forsaken because, He's not answering my prayer. I'm not chosen because, I'm still in this mess that I am in for so long now. Let's not look at the promised land. Because God will fulfill that. But we look and focus on Jesus. Keep our eyes on Jesus. And we will cross over our surging seas and overflowing rivers of trouble. See, there is a strong distinction here. Okay? On this side, before they cross over, was 2.5 million Jews whose lives are defined by wandering. Okay? That's why 40 years they've been wandering. It was defined by complaint, by anxiety, by fear, by defeat, and that was their whole life. But on the other side of Jordan, when they cross over, okay, their life now is defined by what? By property, by land, by promises, okay, by security, by confidence. And this is what Jesus does. He changes our whole existence. He changes the way we see things. He changes the way we see trouble now. He changes the way we see challenges now, that they are just like a glitch or a hiccup in my life and they're just going to go away one day. That's why we have such confidence and such stability and such trust. We are no longer defined by random wandering and meanderings. Sometimes we are defined by our situations. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. We act the way we feel. I don't understand. I can't do much, I just don't understand. Don't rely on me because there's nothing good happening to me. We are defined by our situation. See, God does not author confusion. So our life is no longer defined by confusion. My life is no longer defined by me having to take care of me having to understand me having to lead me being the captain of my life. See, when we cross over and Jesus takes over, we now step back and let God take over. Because Jesus is just telling us, I got this. This one is on me. Stop fighting it. Stop trying to cross your Jordan by yourself because you're not going to be able to cross it. I got this. Let me have this. That's why I'm here. For you to trust, for you to have faith. So now we've gone from wandering, from worrying, from fear, insecurity, being defeated, thrown down. We are now crossed over. The things that seem impossible, the things that are overwhelming, and now we are in a place of promise. Do you know that you are standing in a place of promise?
Amen.
You don't sound like it.
Amen.
Do you believe that you are standing in a place of promise?
Amen.
Where you are right now, do not believe your situation, do not believe the enemy, do not even believe the negative people around you that's telling you where is the promise, because you are standing in a place of promise.
Amen.
Whether you like it or not, you are in a place of promise. And stay there. But sister, I can't see the promise. It's there. You are in a place. It has already been done. Okay? So stop wandering around. Stay in your place of promise. In verse 17, probably the craziest miracle in the story, it says that the priest stepped in dry ground. Right? You read that?
Yes.
See that in verse 15? Dry ground. Have you ever noticed that word when you read this passage? We just brush through it, right? See, when a river, okay, when water stops, what is usually the ground like? Muddy. It ain't dry. There's no way it can be dry right at that moment. But it says there, we just read the promise and the miracle of God. It says there that as soon as the priest stepped in the water, they were standing on dry ground. Imagine if Jesus did not change that ground. It's muddy. There's probably going to be a mudslide. And they're all going to die. Right? They did not ask for a dry ground. But Jesus gave them dry ground. Which means, my dear brothers and sisters, Jesus knows our need. He knows your trouble. He knows what you're going through. He knows your pain. He knows it. And He has a way out of it. See, we are standing on a firm foundation. Jesus has our best interest. He even knows the need even before we need it. Does that make sense? Yeah. He knows it already even before we need it. We are standing on dry ground. We have a firm foundation, so we are secure. We are safe. So no matter what your situation tells you, no matter what your challenges tells you, tell your challenges in your situation, I'm in dry ground. I am secure. I am safe. And lastly, I'll give you this word in Psalm 114, verse 5. It is the same scriptural message with Joshua 3. It says here, Psalm 114, verse 5, what ails you, O sea, okay, that you flee? So, or what disgraced you, O sea, that you flee? O Jordan, that you turn back? Look at the attitude of the writer here. There's such confidence here. Okay? See what happened? He was actually, telling the Red Sea, what happened to you, Red Sea? Ha ha! I conquered you. I was able to cross over the Red Sea. And what about you, Jordan? Ha, you're rushing water, your flood, overflowing flood. What happened to you? Where are you now? See, we have to be the same as the writer here with his confidence. That is the kind of confidence that we have in Jesus, that we can speak to our Red Seas, that we can speak to our Jordans, and tell our Jordans, I am done with you. I am done with you. Jesus has crossed me over you. You can't scare me now. Come on. God's got this. My God got this. Okay? For you are no match with Jesus. Sometimes you just have to act crazy in the midst of our challenges, in the midst of our troubles, and tell our troubles, you have no hold on me. Come on. No. Try, but you're not going to win. But most of the time, we allow our problems to talk over us, don't we? Right? We even listen to our problems. Yeah, you're right. See, our momentary troubles of many kinds is done. It is finished. He is in control over all the elements, the Red Sea, the Jordan River, and He's also in control of every aspect of our life. His promises are true. He is faithful, and that we can bank on. So if you are standing today in front of your Jordan, raise your hands. See, if you are at a place where you don't understand what's going on, and you can't do it anymore, remember, God is telling you, I got this. I got this. All you need to do is to keep your eyes on me. Take that step of faith and face your surging sea, and then enjoy and experience your promises. See, our God never fails.
Amen. Amen.
The waters rise all around us. No mountain stands in the path of your view. He will never fail. Amen.
Amen.
Let's stand up and let's pray. Lord, thank you, Lord, for your beautiful words. We know, Lord, that life is difficult, life is hard. but knowing, O Lord, that you have already cut off whatever troubles, whatever challenges, whatever difficulties we are facing and we are about to face, Lord, it is such a great assurance for us that we can stand in confidence, O Lord. We can stand secure and stand safe because, Lord, you have already conquered our Jordans. Lord, just remind us all the time, Lord, that they cannot destroy us, they cannot defeat us, they cannot overtake us because we already have been crossed over by you. So, Lord, may we just keep every word that you have imparted to us tonight. And may we always remember, Lord, that in the most difficult times of our life, it is also the time that you are working miracles, that you are doing what you have promised, that you are doing and fulfilling every word that is coming out of your mouth, O Lord. And so we will just keep on walking dry ground. You're going to give us a safe passage in times